Rabbi Miller Zeichat Tzadik Avracha advised me to read Tanua Samusa, which was very popular those days. If you can get a hold of it, it's Kodesh Kadoshim. He told me learn it Ben Azmanim, and it's Ben Asdorim rather. And it's Gavaldig. He said you'll get a lot out of it. I want to thank Torah Anytime, Kavish Kocha Pratius, Kol HaLoshen, Rabbi Yosef Yaffa. You want to thank the Eibishter for everything. Every time you say thank you, big things are happening in Shemayim. Do you know that when you stop saying thank you, don't ask. Don't stop for a second. You're not yourself if you're not saying thank you. Every minute you got it, there's a lot of tests in the thank you business. But this went wrong, that went wrong. Say thank you non-stop before you ask. Just keep the thank you mode. The thank you mode is Kodesh Kadoshim. You're going to say, even though you sinned, you're going to say thank you because you don't want to sin. Even though you made a mistake, you're going to say thank you, it wasn't worse. But you're going to say thank you. That has to go on and on to the extreme. We're breaking midos, the biggest fears of midos in the world. That's why I became Rabbi Miller's Chassid. The biggest fears of midos in the world is say thank you. And he was heavily into that in Chayvus Avavis. Nothing like the Chayvus Avavis. I believe he told his kids before he was nipped up. You want to have a good life? Learn Chayvus Avavis. Chayvus Avavis. Look at Shar Cheshbon HaNefesh. Is that beautiful? Rav Weinkran Zatzal, when he told me about Chayvus Avavis, his mouth was watering. Chayvus Avavis, Purim, he told me, you want to be B'simcha. Getting shikah won't give you B'simcha, but learning 3 hours, Chayvus Avavis will make you B'simcha. Watch that go slow, but you never know, the Eibishter could give you a life of simcha that you don't even chap. You can be spiritual, or ain't spiritual, or have. But if you're into that heavy, not 5 minutes, 10 minutes, yes, 5 minutes. Man, don't cut it out. Leave these guys alone. 10 minutes a day. It's gonna be great. But let's aspire to the real thing. You know, this man didn't dance and sing, although Novandigers did. I know Gesh and Heltra dancing and singing big time. Ruach, that was a Shita Novandig, but his branch, Rabbi Weinkrantz, forget that whole sugya. Singing and dancing. His simcha level was beyond. The man had massive Ruach HaKodesh. Besides finishing Shas every year. Hours and hours of Chayvus Avavis. You drown yourself in that stuff. Heard for a Michal Shvat Zatzal. He was in a Vardiger and became a Skver Chassid, this lady is. They loved him in Skver. The Skver Rebbe went wild over him. There was nothing like him. By the way, he liked Skver very much. He told me, those younger light in Skver are murdered and the Rebbe doesn't eat and sleep. What are you talking? He held from them Admai. Anyway, he told me, Chayvus Avavis, you gotta have Mayim Rabim of Chayvus Avavis. You want to focus yourself on the Chayvus Avavis. Take a look at Shar Cheshbon HaNefesh. It's so beautiful. With a niggin. With a soft niggin. A niggin makes you on fire. Chayvus Avavis, your whole simcha level is no more issue. If you're heavy into this, your simcha level, but be involved. Another peak here, another peak there. Chayvus Avavis. You know, Reb Chaim Halpern told me, if I'm not mistaken, he told me this. There's a Rishon. This is a Rishon. Every Rishon's Rishon. Mechaba Weizmann said, if you're talking that, the Rambam also learned the Chayvus Avavis. Chayvus Avavis. There's nothing like it. Chayvus Avavis. There's nothing like the Chayvus Avavis. It's unbelievable. With a niggin, with a varmkeit. Chayvus Avavis, the way he talks about the Rabbeinu Shalom, I could venture to say, I'm sure I'm allowed to say it. Call me who's not orangutan, Chayvus Avavis, kimi she'ein lo yelika. There's no suffix that what I said now is very mamiti. Kimi she'ein lo yelika. Go ask Shalmatcha Rabashkin what saved him in jail. Shar B'tachon. Shar B'tachon is Mimuchad, but B'chlal V'cheves Avavos. There's nothing like it. Where he talks about the Yevishter with such a love. Where he makes it so real. Look what he's doing for you. And again he rubs it in and how much you owe him. And watch out, the Yetzer Hara. He's your only real enemy. The way he talks. You gotta be mispal a lot, that it should go in, that it should work. Be mispal. These days are gavaldig. It's Erev Purim. The Eibusher can give you a fight. Now listen. What happened? You had to say to this. Suddenly, you feel like it's going good. Something went good in your life. Your ruchnius is no. But you had a little bit, it did go a little bit good. Sit on that little bit all the time. Don't kvetch anymore. The burning issue of your life is no kvetching. I don't give it ruchnius. No more kvetching. Sit over that little thing. Rabban Segel, Zayn Gesundstock, told me with Shalom Bayis, used to tell this to young alike. You find one little thing good in that lady and sit on that. Sit on it. Look how good you are. Just sit on that one little good thing. Do it with yourself too. Sit on it. The one good little. You're going down, rocky, it's not so good, but one little thing, Abishta, thanks a million for that. The thankfulness is the burning issue of every human being. It's being alive. You're not thankful, it's over. But I'm learning, I'm davening. Thankfulness has to ooze. You have to be so always. Don't stop that stuff. Don't stop. The thankfulness means being close to Hashem. Reb Chatzkel quoted a Rashi in Brochus. The real thankfulness being the real closest to Hashem is thankfulness. When you're asking, give me this, give me that. It's funny good. Don't listen to me. Ask for whatever you want. And it's going to be good too. But I'm telling you, lechatchila, this is the way you're supposed to do things. The more, the better. The beauty of the chayvus halvavus. You know that Rav Galinsky Zatzal told me, in the Haim they said, anybody who likes chayvus halvavus is an elachayid. You like chayvus, they say the Satmar used to learn chayvus halvavus while he ate. Chayvus halvavus. Rabbi Kotler. Chayvus was his sefer, Chayvus Avavos, Rabbi Miller, Chayvus Avavos. More than anything. Now look. Sometimes I say that nothing better than a chabura. Who said this? Rav Wolbe told somebody, a friend of mine who ate by his house. He says, you're saying chaburas? When you're saying chaburas, all your problems disappear. And I would... let's be practical. Who's going to be learning Chayvus Avavos the way I'm asking you? Say chaburis. All your problems go in the garbage. If you could. Learn the real learning, a chabura, your own stuff. If you could. I do a labdaf do the ideal, but I'm going to tell you, I have my own chudushim. I'll tell you, this week's parsha, Heilige Rashi says that when you put on you take the machzis shekel. He showed him a burning, a fiery machzis. What's this fiery? It has to be fiery. What's this fiery? I saw a half a shekel. You know what it looks like? It's and it's half of a, what is it already? Machzis shekel. And you're not an individual because everybody's a half. And rich guys, poor guys, everybody the same. So how do you feel like a mensch with all that when you're nobody? Another half a shekel, we're all a bunch of half a shekels, big deal. I mean, it kills you, your individualism. Half a shekel, and a half means you're not really making it. You're nobody. How do you do that? I'll tell you how. If you're on fire, there's no problem. If you're on fire, if you're learning Chayves Avavais, Abayteya Bashem Chesed Yisayvevenu, the sweetness of a pasuk in the Heilige Chayves Avavais. You're on fire with a niggin, a soft niggin, a niggin. Abayteya Bashem Chesed Yisayvevenu. Especially Shar Betochen, Shar Cheshbon and Nefesh is a bomb. I remember Rav Rotnam used to tell me the vision. It says, went ahead. They made a whole save. Shar Cheshbon and Nefesh has the whole, in a nutshell, the whole Chavis above us. I mean, it's not, you can't do that so fast in a nutshell, but it's sort of it's like a sefer by itself. It's a complete, and the vision says, put it out separate. And I remember Rotnam said, I like that. You don't have to be a visitor to appreciate that was a good move. You don't have to be, I appreciate as a Novanega. I have tremendous Hakaras Teva, did a smart thing, Vision Succeeded. Put the whole chayv, just that. Shachayv is just sweet. Rabbi said, there's nothing like it. How a baby is born, the nisim gluyim that go on, how the Rebishter raised you, and how, he made you from nothing. The way he says it with such warmth. There's so much warmth in the Chavis Avavos. It's so full of fire. Listen to this, Rabbi Sai. I heard the Pechas Menachem Malch, son of Meir Vesem Shon, he's a Ger Chassid. How sweet he's special. He's a Ger, he's not going to like what I said. They don't like covet over there. So don't tell him what I just said now. He's sugar. He has a whole bunch. One of them is a famous speaker. Anyway, but one of them spoke in Beis Yosef at his father's yahrzeit. Yes, his father. Why did you get involved in Kedusha? The Novanegas, they never talk about, his father told him, if you would learn Musa the way we learned Musa, you couldn't think of it. There's no mock-up for it. You know what that means? That's the way to go. That's why I say a chabura ain't bad idea, because you can't think of anything. You're in a chabura. Who has room for anything else? You're in a chabura, but halavai. First thing, gotta daven. I gotta tell you one thing. That somebody told me a pshat. Somebody told me a pshat that, that everybody, the Neiros, the mitzvah was hatovas haneris. Hatovas haneris means prepare it. That's it. You did the mitzvah. You got it. You didn't light it. The Rambam says you did light it. Am I right? The Rambam says you did. But generally, they all hold, you didn't light it. Just said it. Hatovas, you did good. Hatovas haneris, did the job. But you didn't light it. The Torah says you did yours. You didn't finish. Don't have to finish nothing. Just do yours. Someone just told me this today. And I reminded myself that of his own shot, I'm a big Rebbe. You know that? You know who I am? You know what? I just got an Aliyah. Erev Rosh Chodesh. Adam. They gave me an Aliyah in Kel Shimshon. And right after the Aliyah, in front of everybody, I opened up my big mouth and said, how does it come that they didn't say Hagoyin on me and Hatzadik? I said this, I made sure everybody heard it. About 100 people there. How do you do that? Not Hagoyin, not Hatzadik. He left out Butzina Kadisha. How do you do that? The place was on the floor. And I said, I'm traumatized, I got to see my therapist, and it's all your fault. You guys, you didn't give me the... Anyway, when I finished, I said like this. I says, you're not Yaitze Kriyas HaTorah, Erev Rosh Chodesh Adar, unless you make a joke. You gotta make a joke, come on! What's with you guys? People think jokes are jokes. Joke is not a joke. You better make a joke. It's good for you. So anyway. So what am I talking about again? Where am I up to? Who? Yeah. Oh, I am shocked. I wanted to say it like this. Regel Regel. What's this regel business? You got to be in Yerushalayim to be inspired. You're not even there. Regel, foot. What's this foot business? Rigla. Chazal call it Rigla. Well, I'll be there at Rigla. You're going to be there at Rigla. Pesach Sukkot Shavuos. I'll call it Shoulders Regolim. Rigla. Oh, that's Rigla. What do you mean? It's just, that's a stepping stone. You're not there. Hadidel Mandel Gezok Tamere de Kapshah. The Ike is going. Just go. You got it all. It's done. That's the name, the stempel. Just like Mavakesh Emuna. That's it. You're done. You're Mavakesh. So I want to say, whatever I'm going to tell you, whether you're ready for it, you're not. You want to do it, you made it. You're there, it's fine. You're on the road. You know how great you are if you're on the road and start saying thank you that you, anyone who came in, Muftachloi, Shubarei Haba, what's the question? And Purim's coming up in a hafechu. You know, my father, Zechat Tzadik, was a Tzadik Yisrael. I have two brothers. I have a bunch of girls, and there's two brothers. I'm in the middle. Both brothers were my father's class. He was a first grade Rebbe in the Hebrew Institute of Long Island. They both had him. I didn't. That's the matzah. Why, what, when? And both of them spent 10 years teaching together with him. One in Los Angeles and one in Far Rockaway. Okay. I never taught with him. So I'm sort of like an interesting guy around here. So my brothers, as soon as he was nifta, this one got the chul, that one got the shas, Rabbeinu Thomas, they already got the work. And me, how do I get into this? For some reason, I got the Megillah. I got a hint over there. I already chopped the hint. And then I wanted a picture of my father also. There's one upstairs. You want to see it? My father used to go around Rosh Chodesh Adar with Charlie the crane. The whole LA will tell you about my father. Charlie was a fake crane. You know, a bird, big giant bird. It was fake, and he used to march around the streets with it. You know, there's a reason why I became Novandic. There's something in my blood that goes in that direction. My father used to go around with Charlie. He called it Charlie. The whole of Los Angeles went wild. And my father was funny like anything. Anyway, so I always wanted a picture. My brother got this for the other. Picture, and me. So then one day, suddenly a guy pops up. Mendel, I got a picture of your father. He gives me a picture of my father standing with Charlie the crane. So I got the message. First they get me, the Eibishter sends me the Megillah, and then he sends me the picture of father with Charlie the crane. That's where I come in to the picture. And now I know what I'm all about. I'm the Purim Rebbe around here. I know my place. This is for me. I said this, and the whole Plano heard me. And I got up and I said, ladies and gentlemen, the people when they get old, they forget things. Oh, what's today? Oh, what's this? Well, I've been doing that since I'm a kid. In fact, I'm much better lately. Lately, I'm starting to see straight for a change. You know, I'm starting to remember. You asked my wife, but she fell in with me. So now I'm starting to, I work in a different mahalach. B'tachon have different service. You know, as I get older, now I'm starting to remember. See, you gotta get older, then you'll start remembering. But I'm just joking. I don't have any of that stuff, confusion. There's only one thing that I'm always getting confused. Isn't today Purim? All year round I'm busy with that. Today's Purim, no? Because I'm always, they'll show them race of the Bible. They made Purim latest battle. Look at Jack. They got me a new jack, you know that? Rabbi say, Jack is back in business. My chavra, these are all empty bottles. I'm proud of my boys. They drink. And Jack is now in a brand new Jack someone just got me. By the way, I can't stand Jack. The covered Purim, the truth comes out. I hate Jack. Jack! What's wrong with Smirnoff vodka? I'd rather have Smirnoff vodka than you. But he has a name with a picture. I don't know, why was Jack Zeicha that he has a beard? Jack has a beard. I don't know who this Jack was. But anyway, he's got a nice beard. He looks distinguished. He got a big hat. So I don't know what was Jack's chus that we're always talking about it. I wonder what's going on in Gan Eden. And Jack Sparrow kind of Gan Eden. I don't know, where is Jack right now? I wonder. No, aren't you? What's going on with Jack? Anyway, my Rabbi say it's Erev Purim. It's time to laugh your head off. Enjoy life. And stop kvetching. And don't worry. And the Eibishter's going to help us. And everything will be good. I was just looking, this week's Parsha. You don't keep Shabbos? And take a look at the Targum. He learns in there that you gotta eat, you gotta see the lush in there. Delicious foods are real, you gotta see his lush in there. Real einig, fun, Hungarian kugel, real stuff. And with pickles, he doesn't specify. But whatever you could dream of, Targum Yonis and Menuzil seems to say it. Shabbos, you gotta keep Shabbos. If you don't keep Shabbos, you must. Now what's Shabbos? Shabbos means chill out. That's what Shabbos is. You gotta rest. And, Rashi says, Menuchas Margoya. So they say, a chashava. But Menucha, it's like, not stam, Yotzi. Yotzi Shabbos, pooh, forget everything. See that lush and Rashi? You gotta really, really, and eat good food, delicious food. That's Shabbos. You don't do that? You must. Now you gotta know that's what our whole, and B'chal Shabbos is the worst thing. You know that. Chil Shabbos is number one. Gilo, Avodah Zarah, he's not part of us. Keeping Shabbos is number one. Everybody knows it. Is he a Shem Shabbos or not? Is that what they always ask? That means, is he cool and chilled and calm and relaxed and eats good food? Then he's one of us. If he doesn't, my show stone him. He's skila, by the way. Shabbos is one of the worst thing you can do is skila. I'm saying, why doesn't it say, gotta be besimcha naseres adibris? Because he says, a mitzvah means, because simcha, I always wondered, whenever I learned the Torah, simcha, how'd you get here? I didn't see you in naseres adibris. I didn't see you anywhere. Suddenly, you weren't besimcha, you're dead. Whew. Where does it say you have to be besimcha? Why doesn't the Torah say? So the Samsai answers, if the Torah would say you got to do it, that's already no good. That messes up the simcha. It's like be besimcha. It messed up. Samsai, but you got to see his lush. They didn't see it inside. You got to be besimcha. And a lot of people, when they say got to see it, they don't chop that there's no tzivui on it. That's why Mendel, the mechutzav, can come along and say, I'm happily depressed. Because I don't have this, gotta be besimcha. I'm not into that. It's not one of the service ever, be besimcha. Because the Torah knows. You're gonna say that, everyone's gonna get all stressed out. You gotta be besimcha. So it's a tzimtzum. When you have a tzivui, it's not a murdik of some sort. Anyway. So you gotta enjoy life. Come on! Purim, are you doing tshuva? Why is Kippurim? Why is Yom Kippur like Purim? Why? Purim, since when is Purim better? Purim is fun, Purim is for kids. Purim is a kiddie Yom Tov, you would say. It's with masks, fun. It's not a serious, Yom Kippur. That's the real thing. So how come these Jews come along and say, what Kippurim means? That Yom Kippur is like Purim. It's not quite the real thing. When Salah, that's not the real thing. When you're crying and you're doing tshuva and all your averos and fasting, that's not the real thing. The real thing is Purim. This is like Purim. It's not real. It's not, you fast. The real thing is, take a jack and drink. That's an el chayit. Purim. Purim is the real, now this is what it's all about. So that's why I'm always confusing the whole year round with Purim. Because I believe, because that's what it's, and you make Purim is not bottle, you know that? Anyway, my Rabbi say. I'm planning on going to Pesach with my gabbai. I have both of my gabbai in my hair. I'm always checking up on them. I probably have more gabbaim than any Rebbe. Half my chassidim are gabbaim. In fact, as soon as you become a chassid of mine, you automatically become a gabbai. And my gabbaim are on my case. By the way, we have 2 more young guys joining us. You know that? 2 or 3. They're coming with us to Pesach. That's Hashem next week. You want to come along? We'll take over, we'll make freilach. We want to be mechazik Eden. And I'm planning this so far Wednesday, I'm going to Great Neck. But in the middle of the week, middle of the week, I have to be back by 11. I'm a Rebbe, and I can't. But Shabbos. So I'm planning we're going to Pesach, and we're already in Dallas, now Pesach, and we're making our rounds. We plan to all over. Who? Wednesday, so far. This week. Yeah, but there's someone else asked me to come. I have to work it out with those 2 agendas. I don't know if you could do both in one night. I told him tentatively Wednesday, he better call me up. All right, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so we want to spread Torah all over the place and show the world that there's an Eibishter. It's so delicious. How good the Eibishter is, the nisim and the floys that he's doing lately. Yeah, everybody who calls me. Recently, somebody called me, and I said, how's my mefis? It didn't, what? I wanted to make a shechianu on that. It actually didn't happen. You know how many people, they told me, just like you said, my wife gave birth like a whistle. Like, you heard the complaint they had against me. Don't say whistle, man. Somebody comes to this spot. Call me up. The first one, I said like a chicken with an egg. That's what in my usual nusach. So that usually causes, the last one that I remember, it caused she was there for 2 hours, and then the baby and then she gave birth in a minute, and the doctor missed the boat. No, she was there for 2 hours. No, he was there, I think, right? But she got up. It took a minute, the whole business. A minute, you hear that? And that's what they told me. And they told me that she got off the table like she hadn't given birth. Like she walked around like, oh, what's new? Oh, how are the kids? She walked around like, oh, I just gave birth. Oh, I forgot. I'm serious. That's what the husband told me this. So the next time I gave a bracha, it should be like a whistle. Then I got a complaint. The guy sits over there. I'm not saying his name. I don't know if he doesn't mind. He says, he called me Rabbi Mendel. I have a complaint. Don't say a whistle. The whole thing took 7 minutes from the beginning from the time she came till it was over, and the doctor missed the boat. Don't say whistles anymore. No more whistles. You hear that? They say, watch out. So anyway, I have about 40 that I counted. They go, Bli Ein Hara, the Eibishter's. Chaim Tevim L'Shem Baruch Atah Adonai. Eloheinu Melech Haolam Sha'ak Olam Yisrael. Now, I have 2 letters. Of people who are doing the following. They take their kids. Hey, let me get rid of this. You guys can drink it. I don't want this stuff. The Rebbe's yaitza with a drop. The Rebbe's don't really have to drink. I just drink so you guys should have shirayim. Say, hey, go get your shirayim and leave me out of this. Go enjoy, Jack. Next time, I'll get some vodka. Smearing up. I'm just joking. Jack, be Michael, man. I didn't mean it like that. Anyway. So. Amen. Everybody should have a happy Purim. Chol HaDei Zechol HaMafarshim. Should be happy like anything. Should be Yitzhak. Amen. So I got 2 letters. Listen to this one. Oh boy. Both letters were people who decided to lie Like I consider myself I am the biggest liar in Guns Lakewood, and I'm proud of it. I'm a professional liar. In fact, a true word you're not going to hear from me, not so fast. You know, Rabbi Miller lied about somebody I knew, and that person changed just like Rabbi Miller was lying. Bashasi was lying, it wasn't true, Bichlal. A wonderful person. I remember like today, wonderful. And that person became a star. You know what words can do? Anyway, so I got a letter. There's a family. Somebody's off, not doing well. And the family got together and they took Mandel's advice and there were 8 family members who got on the telephone for a few minutes a day and started lying about the dysfunctional member of the family who was totally out of it, a nebuch. And they spoke about that 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, the dysfunctional family member started turning around. Things started immediately. And dysfunctional family member is smiling, working, getting up, acting normal. No one said anything to the dysfunctional guy. They just spoke with lies about the dysfunctional guy. You hear that? And the guy and neighbors say, "What happened to Yankee? He's like a new person." Did you hear this? This is all in writing. They sent me this, an email. Sent me 2 of them. Liars. A guy had trouble with one of his kids, and he said, "My son," he started writing, "My son is making a siyum." A guy from Venezuela, he wrote about his son. This one happened about 7 years ago in Venezuela. He wrote, "My son is making a siyum." His son was busy all day looking at Koldova Osa when he wrote it. You hear this? And the son was mamish like, don't ask. He's skipping everything. Is your Yamakan? Oh, I forgot. You know, one of those. And so they wrote. So the father was crying as he wrote it. If the Mendel told him, just write what your dream is. You just finished the Masechta, write it. He started doing it. And right away, he did it 20 minutes a day. Just writing. He didn't say nothing, just writing. A year later, he actually finished the Masechta. The whole business. Did you hear the story? And he was crying when he wrote. He said, "It's not true. Just write it." Isn't that beautiful? What you can do. I do this on myself. I always write, and he just became the Rosh Hashanah. That came true a long time ago. I believe in myself. As much as I hold from everybody. But olis al kulono. Rabbis bonos asu choyel. A lot of good people in this world. But olis al kulono. But me, that's the emes of pshat neshes chayil. Rabbis bonos asu choyel. Viat olis al kulono. You should all do that. Go ahead. Go say like this. My father's on my list of Gan Eden. He used to sing. This is how he sang. Eshes chayil. He gave my mother covered malachim, even though he had a hard marriage, very hard marriage. Being married to my mother, I'll tell you why. Although everything's coming out. I had a shot of this, Jack, maybe Shika. Now let's hear some interesting private stuff. This is going to wake up all the guys who are sleeping. Now, my father had a very hard marriage. How he lived with my mother, nobody knows. What was the issue? This was the issue. My mother was tzaddikus. She would say, well, me, got to give her credit. My mother actually, how'd you do it? If I would have had me, I wouldn't know how to do that. But that alone, you got your Ilam Haba. My mother, I'm sure, is in the highest place in Ilam Haba. For one reason alone, that she had to deal with me. So she must be murdered. My mother, what she was able to. So that's why I'm so proud of myself. I gave my mother more Olam Haba than the whole family. Thanks to me, Mommy's got. Thanks to me, Mommy's got an Olam Haba. She had me. Anyway. But I'll tell you why my father never suffered all his life. You ready? You know, the longer I keep you waiting, the more fun it is. Till the tongues are hanging out. And then in the end, oh, I forgot. I was talking about something else. Go kill it. The guys are waiting to get the punchline. Oh, I forgot. Maybe next week I'll try to remember. Keep you guys in suspense. I mean, this guy's terrible. Mandel, you don't do things like that. It's not nice. Anyway, here's the story. My father was a Galiciana, and he loved jokes, 24/7. He was really good. Guess how I got like this? I finally, my mother, the Yeki, but real Yeki, she was from Nuremberg, the capital of Germany. She was a Yeki, the real, aber was, aber also, aber was, yeah, she was the real Yeki. My father used to come home with his jokes, and my mother used to look at him. What? What was that? And my father, come on, please understand this joke. My father used to beg it, can you chab? Huh? In Yekalan, they weren't into that sugya. What? What's a joke anyway? In the German dictionaries. Now here goes. Please, the shi'ur will be beichel. I'm Yeki myself, so I can make fun. And the Ated years ago had a picture of Purim in Frankfurt. You want to know what the picture looked like? I should have saved it. It looked like Tishpeb all the way. I promise you. It was Purim in Frankfurt. You should have seen it. It was hilarious. Some of them had goatees, they're mochashu types. These are my ancestors. I'm one of them. And they're all, a row of them, sitting together, about 10 of them. They're all sitting like this. Purim and Frankfurt. Purim and Frankfurt. That's Purim and Frankfurt. So my mother came from Frankfurt. She's not from Nuremberg. That's worse. Nuremberg is the capital of Matisho. It comes from the same place. They said we're just a small community, but the Elochi in there, the Rav there was a tzaddik Yisrael, was a masbid. Rabbi Klein, his name was tzaddik Yisrael. Anyway, but even though he was a Yeki, he was okay. I'm joking. So my mother didn't chop. You're talking to the wall, Pa. Why don't you give up? You're married 50 years. Don't you chop? Mommy is out of it. She was born in Yekalan. They don't know it's fly. You're from Galicia. How'd you two get together? How does this work? What's going on? He used to come home with jokes. And Mommy's is not out for lunch. My brother told me, when I told him about this, it's not true. 3 o'clock in the morning, Mommy used to jump up suddenly and burst out laughing. She got it. Now Mommy finally got the joke. Hey, what's going on? My father, I'm made, ain't it right, Panay Gehenim. He never, my mother did a job. What do you do? Poor Tati has to suffer. By the way, he adored her. Now let's get a little serious. He adored my mother. Well, my wife checked out the family. You know what they were saying? They thanked my mother for putting my father on his feet. Not too many ladies out there build up their husband. She did it. Oh, she adored him. And I'll tell you another time, my father got a lot of cover. And my mother got this much cover, she couldn't stand it. She wasn't interested in the whole business. And she was so happy when my father got covered. That's something, I was alive. They're both sitting there having a ball. And the main reason for their Olam Haba is me. I get credit for the high levels of Olam Haba. Anyway, let's get back. Let's get serious. It's not easy for me to be serious. Anyway, I'm working on it. The only thing I'm serious about, I'm a serious drinker. Serious food. You ever eat yapchik? Serious food. You gotta be serious. It's not right. Let's be serious. Do you know that? I'm afraid to say this. Now, I heard steers, but I did hear from one of the biggest Talmidim of Rabbaran. I'm sure nobody's going to take this in the wrong way. You got to be very careful. But I'll take care of it. I asked him, what did he look like in El? You know what he told me? This is a big person. I can tell you what is world famous. Used to give over the shir, Rabbaran. He was on the top. He said, he wasn't really serious. Rabbaran? Come on. But the stories they tell about, I'll tell you another story about him. I heard this, the Scranton Rosh Hashiva said, when they were playing basketball, Rabbaran passed by, they dropped the ball and the game was over. Why not? He wasn't against it. He understood. They said you couldn't do a Dava Gashmi in front of him. And I know Rab, he was a Malach Likim Rabbaran, but he was happy. He was crazy happy, you know that? And you could, I heard a different report. Elul was Elul. This person said, Yom Kippur a little bit serious. Imagine. What does it mean not serious? Don't worry about him. Yeah, heard this, I did. But somehow, I remember Reb Nosson. He was not serious. I mean, his personality was, he also had my father's issues. He also had a wife that wasn't quite, that's what I was told. She didn't chap. They got a lot of mixed marriages those days. They mix them up. And somehow it works, you know. Don't ask me. That's why I'm a little bit, I'm still trying to figure myself out. You know, I had to go through all this. My traumatic youth. No, but what I went through. You know how many people are going around worried about their past and kvetching? What I went through. What I went through. Now, what I tell them, the worst cases, I say, you are a Gilgal of David HaMelech. Want to hear about his youth? They wanted him dead with lions and bears. They thought he was a mamzer. And maybe you're his Gilgal. I've told this to people. It did wonders. The last one I told it to, okay, whatever. But David HaMelech Gilgal, they didn't stel zachan. They messed me up when I was a kid. Hashem Amalei Kalo. Without that issue, you ain't worth a penny. The best thing your parents ever did for you was scream at you and abuse you and fight in front of you and mix you up and make you take the sugar. That was the biggest gift you could ever have. Why? Now you have a challenge. Now you can steig. But I would have been Yitzhahara. Hashem Amalei Kalo. Hashem wants that. That's l'chatchila. You need that for your greatness. Jabba does nothing without that. Because he had to overcome. People who overcome the Mama Leah, boy, did she have to overcome a husband that wasn't quite new. What would they say today? The Mama Leah, this is not a marriage. This is not a marriage. I fell in. My husband doesn't. You know, the first three sons, Reuben, Shimon, Levi, maybe now my husband will like me. A therapist today would take the Mama Leah and say, Mama Leah, it's not for you. He likes Rachel. It's over. We all come from one of those interesting marriages. The Mama Leah with Yaakov Avinu. No, how did that happen? That's to teach everybody. It ain't going to be normal no matter how hard you try. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be crazy somewhere. Either the wife or the kids. Something's meant to be crazy. That's the normal matzav. It's not only Yikvas in the Mashiach. Since the world was created. Hashem wants to see people deal with abnormal situations. And I got to start my questions and answer. Come on.